The words landed softly, but they shook him harder than any shout ever could. Serena stood there, in the clear light of day, calm, steady, saying he owed her rent. In that moment, Armin's whole life felt like a balance sheet. Unpaid debts, silent failures, promises he had made to himself, but never managed to keep. His name was Armin Halim, and he had learned the sound of disappointment. Early in life, the small rental house, muted yellow, at the edge of a tidy neighborhood, where mornings smelled like freshly watered lawns and coffee, seemed to mock him. It looked forgiving, even welcoming, but Armin knew. Appearances lied. 6 months he'd lived there, surviving on freelance repair work, under a sun that never seemed to rest. The days were bright, almost cruelly so, revealing every crack in his life that darkness might have hidden. He'd lost his job, his savings, to his mother's medical bills, and most of his pride. Only a stubborn belief in a turnaround remained. Serena Caldwell, the owner, carried herself with quiet authority, not harsh, but not soft either. She had rebuilt her life once already, after her late husband left her the property, along with grief and responsibility. Renting it out kept her afloat, kept her busy. When memories grew loud, she'd seen the weariness in Armin's eyes and agreed to flexibility, trusting effort over immediate funds. But time moved forward, and unpaid rent had a way of becoming impossible to ignore. Armin listened, shame rising hot and heavy in his chest. But something else, too, a strange clarity that often comes when there's nothing left to lose. He looked at the neat garden behind her, the house glowing softly under the sun, and understood she was not his enemy. She was simply standing on her side of reality. "What if I could give you something better than rent?" he asked, not with arrogance, but with a quiet resolve that felt pulled from his very core. He had no money, but he offered work, time, honesty. He spoke of his father, of fixing things, of his mother's bills, of the fear of falling too far behind. The daylight did not soften his words. It made them feel real, grounded, undeniable. Serena listened, arms crossed, not in defense, but in thought. She'd heard excuses. This felt different, not just desperation, but purpose. Struggling to breathe, they agreed on a trial, turning the rental into a partnership. Armin would maintain the property, improve it, help with other houses Serena managed. In return, his rent would be reduced, reviewed monthly, fair, clear. It was not charity, it was a test of trust. As Serena walked away, the sun casting long shadows, Armin felt a surge he hadn't known in years. Useful. The days that followed were full, bright. Armin woke early, worked under open skies, letting sweat replace worry. He fixed steps, repainted fences, revived neglected corners of the garden. Neighbors noticed, offering water, small talk, eventually paid work. Serena watched, noting not just the results, but the care he put into every task. The house began to feel alive, not just as property, but as a place where effort mattered. Armin's confidence grew. With every repaired hinge, every satisfied homeowner. What Serena didn't expect was how much she would change. 2. Seeing Armin rebuild reminded her of her own recovery, how someone once gave her patience when she had nothing to offer but perseverance. She found herself lingering longer outside, asking about his progress, sharing stories about the house, about the life she once imagined there. The arrangement had started as practical, but it slowly became something deeper, rooted in mutual respect. By the end of the 3rd month, Armin no longer avoided his mailbox. He had steady income, growing confidence, a sense of belonging. When Serena reviewed the numbers with him, in the clear light of a warm day, she saw more than payments catching up. She saw growth. He hadn't just paid what he owed. He had added value to everything around him. The house stood stronger, the neighborhood felt warmer, and she felt lighter. The day Armin finally paid the full rent again, the sun was high and forgiving. There was no dramatic celebration, no grand speech, just a quiet understanding between two people who had chosen empathy over assumptions. Armin had given her something better than rent. He had given her proof. That belief, when placed carefully, could grow into something solid and real.